For my reputation speech, the opponents has claimed that the money should be invested into people to reach out and provide youth and families with information and opportunities to gain a higher education. And as their secondary claim, first, the opportunities are not reaching the people that are in necessity of. Second, the government isn't doing their part to directly solve the problem. And the third, Native American culture has been decimated. And for the first point of the secondary claim, the speaker's factual data seem irrelevant to the claim, where it shows a lot of statistics that are relative to United States Department of Justice, which is involved with gang violence, gang activities, and lack of healthcare benefits toward a specific age group of Native Americans' youth. The speaker supports the claim with the statistical data of Native youth's educational level, which could prevent or reduce the unemployment rate. There is no correlation between investing more money towards people who needs an aid to reach out and provide youth and families to achieve a higher education. And according to the NIEA, the National Indian Education Association, they have stated that Native American students have historically been underrepresented in college and university across the country. In an effort to address this imbalance, the large number of college grant programs, both private and public, have appeared to give financial aid to Native Americans dreaming of a college education. This resource provides that many Native American students are not aware of these valuable programs and miss out on the available financial aid. Therefore, even though there are various opportunities for minority students to proceed and have a higher education, but the lack of research has stopped them from their academic career. For the second point, the speaker claims that the government is not doing their job to solve the problem towards the major claim, but the evidence supporting the claim also seems irrelevant. The speaker has not provided factual data for statistical data to support the claim, but rather implied many assumptions which undermine the secondary claim. The speaker stated that currently the government is slowly taking initiative to make a difference to make up for what Native Americans lost and don't have, but there is a way to directly get to the problem. And the source was inadequate and it is biased because it's directly from someone's opinion and their perspective. According to the thinkprocess.org/economy, the unemployment rate for Native Americans has been decreasing since the beginning of 2010, where it was 15.2% throughout the whole nation, compared to 11% for last year. And this proves that the government is trying their best to reduce the number of unemployment rate by providing many opportunities towards the minority groups. For the third point, the speaker provided two sources which benefits to prove that the Native American culture has been decimated, but does not prove any relationship showing how investing money towards a minority could benefit a culture to reconcile with the government to provide higher education and opportunities. The opponent's third secondary claim seems irrelevant towards the major claim, but lack of supporting evidence involving money investments towards the certain minority group. And according to the census.gov, 77% of Native Americans 25 and older who had at least a higher education experience, including high school diploma, GED, or alternative credential, and 13% obtained a bachelor's degree or higher. Also, 67,644 of Native Americans who was 25 and older had a graduate or professional degree. And this proves that there are a great amount of people, Native Americans, who have a degree could make themselves employed. And therefore, even though Native Americans' culture has been decimated, the government is investing money to support and provide minorities, including Native Americans, for their higher education opportunities. Thank you.
All right, Andrew, it was a little complicated to know exactly what you were speaking about at the beginning. You need to project your voice a little bit more, and the terms of the advocate's claim are not really emphasized. So I really didn't understand until you got to the first point what the subject was that you were responding to. It wasn't until I actually heard the term Native American that I said, okay, I remember the speech that you're responding to now. And that comes after you've already summarized what that argument was. So that's a little complicated. You need to be a little bit clearer and a little bit more assertive at the beginning of the speech, reminding us of what the issue is that we're talking about. On your first point, you start challenging data and suggesting that it's not relevant. And I didn't quite understand how the data on the gang violence was being used either by the advocate or by you in this particular situation. So how is it I'm supposed to make an inference from this? That wasn't clear. The better argument, the one that was a little bit clearer, was that there's not really a correlation between money and aid, because there is aid available. We've got historically underrepresented groups, and there are grant processes that are available for them, and you do a citation on that. I thought that was pretty good. But you need to make that claim a little bit more forcefully so that we know how it applies to the argument. It was a little confusing because you also, on the third point, you present some data that says that a substantial number of Native Americans have graduate, professional, postdoctoral degrees, that sort of thing in training. And I wasn't sure why that information wasn't being used on this first point. It would apply to that particular argument. On the second point, once again, I didn't think your summary of the advocate's argument was very clear. Your counterclaim seems to be that since unemployment has been reduced for Native Americans, that there is in fact some government action that is directed toward this, which might be a reasonable inference, although unemployment is down generally, so that Native Americans' unemployment went down also. I'm not sure that that shows anything that is specific from government action on those points. This probably would have been an easy thing for you to also have some counterclaims on about additional programs or spending. How much does the Bureau of Indian Affairs or the Department of the Interior spend in order to try and address these kinds of issues? I'm sure there's some data available on that, and I think that would have made your argument a little bit stronger. The unemployment number is okay, but I think you need something a little bit more substantive there. And on the third point, you claim that it's not really relevant, and I'm not exactly sure why you don't see it as being particularly relevant. The argument that you have at the end, like I said, it sounded to me like it would fit a little bit better on that first point. On delivery issues, your voice drops out sometimes, and I know that you were a little bit nervous about speaking, but you have to project so that everybody can hear you. And I'm sitting in the front row, so sometimes it's a little bit tough for me to hear. I'm sure that there are some people in the back who didn't hear a lot of things that you said, so you need to be a little bit more forceful in using your voice. Okay, thank you.